Hello everyone, I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this February 4th, 2023. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurances Incorporated and also brought to you by Ag Risk Advisors. As we take a look at what we're going to have here for the new month of February, well, it is going to start off with temperatures not as cold. That was quite the Arctic outbreak. More deep snows and very bitter cold temperatures for many areas of the Rockies, the Great Basin states into the southwest. Then we had the big ice storm across Texas and parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas. And the colder Arctic conditions are this weekend going to be sliding into New England, the upper Midwest, parts of the Corn Belt, and the Great Lakes with some very cold weather, while the western states will enjoy a little bit of a warm-up. I wouldn't call it a big thaw, but temperatures won't be as cold. As the Pacific gets more active, we're going to see more rain and mountain snow on the west coast. The Sierra Nevada will get some snow. We'll see rain in central and northern California and across the Pacific Northwest. There will be some snow coming into the Rockies, but nothing really heavy. But the pattern stays busy. There's plenty to come, as February is not showing signs of settling down. After a very busy January, February into March looks to stay very busy. Over the last week, this is where the precipitation has fallen. You can see that more snow fell out across the western high plains and northern Rockies right here. Then we had the ice and the rain and the snow across some parts of the south. But a lot of the west, as you get along and south of Interstate 70, across the Great Basin into California, not very much over the last week or so. This is what the snowfall has been like over the last 2 weeks. Notice how far south the snow line has gotten with the deeper penetration of that colder Arctic air. Freezing conditions, snow and ice has pushed further south across the lower 48 states. And if you've been wondering how it's been this winter when it comes to where temperatures have been, the blue areas show the temperatures since November 1st through current times have been below average, below the 30-year normals, let's say. And you can see all the blue across the west coast, across the northern plains, and the southwest Canada. The white means temperatures are close to average, and then the yellow and the orange means it's been warmer than average. So you can see the bullseye, the focal point of the coldest winter weather, has been out west and across the northern plains, and that's how it's going to likely go for February into March. We really don't see this reversing. We see the cold holding in the west, the warmer conditions relative to average continuing in the east. So there's a lot of winter left, folks. There's a lot more. As we go into the forecast period, this is where we are this weekend. A more west to east flow means that temperatures across the west and central will be more moderated by the Pacific. Arctic conditions will be found in New England and the northeast as that Arctic air swings out of Hudson Bay into the northeast part of the United States. And this is what temperatures look like here. Look at the purple. You can see how severely cold it is in New England, the Great Lakes, parts of the east, much colder than average temperatures. But this is a classic Chinook signature right here along and east of the Continental Divide with a westerly flow. Temperatures are going to thaw a bit. Not terribly warm, but warming up enough to give a break from the harsh winter conditions that have really hit a lot of the interior west here over the last few weeks. This is a nice little break. But this is early in the week. This is by Monday morning. We have a system coming off the west coast. This will bring rain and snow to California, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and into the northern and central Rockies. It's not what I would call a big storm, but it will bring a bit more snow to the high country and also some rain into the lower elevations across the west coast and interior areas of snowfalls that moves through. Then by next Saturday, we have a pretty busy pattern in the east and the central with colder weather and more winter weather heading into the Great Lakes and Midwest. This area of low pressure right here is likely going to hook up with this colder weather that's up here right around or after Valentine's Day. So that Valentine's week, we're likely to see the return of colder weather and snow back into the western states again as this teams up, and the weather pattern for the second and third week of February will likely turn quite a bit colder again with more winter weather conditions coming. Over the next week, you can see that the precipitation in the central Rockies and central high plains isn't terribly heavy, but there's going to be some more towards the Pacific Northwest and California. Then the east central and southeastern areas of the United States are going to be the most wet. Then snowfall, look how far south that snow's getting with that penetration of the Arctic air, with snows across the higher elevations of the far west. Have yourself a great week. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.